Namaste everyone and welcome to the new episode of Breaking It Down. Today we are going to talk about the resignation of B.S. Yediyurappa in Karnataka and appointment of the new chief minister called Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, who is the son of late Mr. S.R. Bommai, who was also the chief minister of Karnataka. So we are going to talk about Mr. Basavaraj Bommai in some another episode and his history and how his legacy also carries. But just to give him a brief, we'll go from Mr. Basavaraj Bommai to B.S. Yediyurappa and all the consequential issues around his resignation, Karnataka politics, BJP and everything else. So starting with Mr. Basavaraj Bommai. Mr. Basavaraj Bommai comes from a political dynasty. So he is not a first generation politician. He has a background. Most importantly, he is a Lingayat, a close aide of B.S. Yediyurappa. So he has seen BSY work, and he is also said to be close to Mr. Amit Shah, right? So he has been appointed as the new chief minister of Karnataka, and that's about him. And then we'll now move to BSY's resignation and what all it means and what all it will have effect on Mr. Bommai's legacy. So let's start with Mr. Yediyurappa. Now Yediyurappa was the person who actually brought BJP into limelight and later into power in Karnataka. Because as you know, BJP has a very less influence in southern states. So starting from Odisha, which is like an eastern state, but it starts it's in the middle. So Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka and Goa. So all these are considered as somewhat southern states. And in these southern states, BJP's hold is only in two states, which is Goa and Karnataka. Now Goa's BJP existence has a background of Goa Mukti Sangram, where a lot of people from RSS have participated in the Goa Mukti Morcha or Sangram. So that has kind of a background. But in Karnataka, it was totally different. Karnataka's history, its political stronghold. So if you know that Indira Gandhi's constituency, when she lost in 1977, was Chikmagalur, and Chikmagalur is in Karnataka. So Karnataka was always a stronghold of the Congress party, and Karnataka gave some good amount of seats in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha together, and it had its own assembly. So it was a stronghold of Congress party, which was then shifted to a BJP stronghold, and is now a good cutthroat competition, just like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, in Karnataka, where BJP and Congress majorly form a duo of power, a balance of power. And third is the JDU. JDU has become significant. JDU is always significant, but now in last two terms of the assembly elections, it has gained a kingmaker status, which was again crumpled by BSY. So this is the whole summary of BSY's existence in Karnataka. That's why or the political importance of Karnataka and its history. I'm not talking about BSY. BSY was a proper Sangha cadre. So he was someone who marched up the ranks of Sangha Parivar, and then Sangha Parivar directed him towards politics, nationwide politics. Somewhat same story with Narendra Modi also, but Narendra Modi came relatively young into the fold of Janasangh and Bharatiya Janata Party. Yediyurappa had to take some time because he was Sahakaryavaha of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh also. So he had a far greater role being played in the RSS. But then he came into politics. He became the chief minister for 3 times, and this was his resignation at the age of 78. So this is a brief history about BSY. Coming to position of BSY in the eyes of the central leadership. There's an interesting video. I won't call it beautiful or good. It's an interesting video by Shekhar Gupta, where he has explained that BJP has completed its transition, where all the party will be run by the central administration or central leadership, higher party leadership. I think that was always the case with BJP or Sangha Parivar. I don't know whether Shekhar Gupta fails to understand that Sangha Parivar is always run by ranks, hierarchy. There is a central authoritarian leadership which runs an authoritarian in a good sense, not in a bad sense or whatever it is perceived today. So Sangha Parivar always ran in that fashion, and it's not a surprise that even BJP runs in that fashion. However, BJP's style of functioning was explained by Nitin Ji Gadkari in a very beautiful speech that, when I was BJP president, Draupadi was placed in a better position than me, because Draupadi had only 5 husbands and she had to ask for a permission or any opinion only to 5 people. But as a BJP president, you have to ask permission to 105 people. So there were a lot of influences in BJP coming from VHP, Bajrang Dal, majorly from Sangha Parivar's official, the state leadership, so on and so forth. So now when all of this comes only to 2 or 3 people sitting at Delhi, that is what Shekhar Gupta means to say. But the truth is that it was always the case. The influence was more during Atal Bihari Ji's time, but now it has reduced significantly, and most of the work is done without any lobbying, pressure tactics. There are meetings in and out when a person feels that my position of power is threatened, he goes to Delhi and he has meetings. So that has not changed, but the amount of influence and the magnitude of influence has definitely changed in BJP. Coming back to BSY and why his resignation is significant. Now, I will bring it down in 2 parts. First is BSY's resignation is upheld by some people. Upheld in the sense that they are happy with the resignation. BJP supporters. Why do you say that? Because BSY was on his top popularity. He was a very popular leader, or the only popular leader of BJP in Karnataka. There were many, but they were regional Karnataka politicians. Some of them went to union, but again, there was no challenge to BSY's popularity in Karnataka. So he was one of the most popular leaders, and he resigned when he was at the top. He was not pushed out of the door. Many people will disagree this on facts that no, he was actually pushed out of the doors, but it's not my opinion. He was asked by the central leadership that you have to resign because your age is 78, and we'll come to the reasons. But I don't believe that he was pushed out of the door. He gave up resignation. There will be some discomfort. Resigning as a chief minister of a state when you are just asked to is not a simple thing to do. Understand this. You could have rebelled, he could have gone to Delhi, he could have sat on dharna, he could have done so many other things. But what he did was he resigned. Now, coming back to the second point, which people say that why BSY resigned, because BSY was aged and he had not developed another generation of leaders behind him. There were leaders, but now people had to flourish behind him, and because of his popularity, they could have been shadowed. Leaders like Tejasvi Surya, leaders like Basavaraj Bomai, and so many other leaders who were shadowed by his popularity and were not able to come up. So now if you compare Devendra Fadnavis's position in Maharashtra and Mr. BSY's position in Karnataka, they are very popular leaders in their particular states, respective states. But Devendra Fadnavis has at least 30-35 years of political age remaining with him. And with BSY, I don't believe it to be even more than 5 or even 5, right? So the political position and the age they are placed in, I think BSY had a huge problem with his age, and I mean he can't do anything about it. But that was one factor. So it was good that he is now going to be a Margadarshak in Sangh Parivar's language, and let the leaders who are behind him in age also and experience also take the reins of the state. People who have not liked it is or who are in the BJP but who are not happy with the decision state the reasons as follows. First being that BSY was the one who engineered the defections of Congress MLAs. He was the one who negotiated. He was the architect of the whole project and how he became the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Now that when he is not there, it will be difficult to hold on to defectors, or because in Karnataka there's no comfortable majority to BJP. It's a razor thin majority given to the BJP. So now they are not happy, and they are not very satisfied with the proposition that any other leader than BSY can handle that defector, non-defector, seniority, non-seniority position which BSY had on his own created and concern. The second reason is Lingayat leader. BSY being a Lingayat leader had a very strong hold on their vote share. He was able to convert votes, his people into votes, his caste into votes, his cultural backing into votes. That was the power of BSY. That power was not realized by BJP in 2012, so he left BJP, created his own party, then came back in 2014 because they realized, both the central BJP and BSY realized that they can't work alone and there can't be four parties in BJP, so on and so forth. So now people who believe in him, people who didn't want him to resign, also cite this reason that he was a Lingayat leader, he was a strong Lingayat leader who could convert and hold on to the Lingayat vote and not let it go to any other political party, being JDS and the Congress. So these were the two sides of why BSY resigning is good or bad, but I'll just give you my 2 cents on this. I think the BJP leadership should have let BSY complete his 5 years tenure, because BSY is an invaluable asset to BJP in the southern part of India. I started with the same proposition that in South India, Karnataka is the only big state where BJP is very comfortably in position to win every elections which comes for next 10-20 years. That is not the case with Kerala, that is not the case with Tamil Nadu, that is not the case with Andhra Pradesh. Telangana, they are making some inroads, but again, not the case with Telangana. So Karnataka can be BJP's headquarters in South India, from where they can engineer different political victories for themselves in Tamil Nadu and other states, for which BSY could have been an invaluable asset. It could have been done through BSY. BSY's political weightage in southern India is so heavy that there are very few people who can say no to him or who can say no to his offer. He often makes offers which cannot be refused, and we have seen that in case of the Congress MLA defectors. So that was my 2 cents on that, and we'll conclude on this note. Thank you so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for our next video on Bharat Bhagavata's YouTube channel. Till then, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and WordPress. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.